Hi, I'm Kyle with Stern Pinball, and in this video we're going to go over raising the playfield on your home edition game. The first thing we're going to need are the coin door keys. Before we get inside the game, we're going to want to power the game off. We'll power the game off with the power switch here on the right-hand side of the head. Now that the game is off, we can take our coin door key, insert it in the coin door, and open it like so. On either side of the coin door, right inside on the front panel of the cabinet, there are latches that hold the front molding assembly down. We're going to find those latches and we're going to move them upwards towards the ceiling, and that will unlatch the lockdown bar. Once we remove the front molding from the game, the next step will be to remove the glass. The glass is tempered, so it's very strong on the face, but it is weak on the edges. So when we remove it, we want to make sure we have a landing spot in mind before we get it out. You're going to want to set it down gently on carpet and lean it up against the wall. If you don't have carpet, you have hardwood floors, maybe find a mat or something soft to be able to set it on to lean it against. A couch also works. Maybe lay the sheet of glass onto the couch so it has a soft place to rest while we're inside the game. To start this process of removing the glass, the first thing we're going to want to do is close the coin door. Let's start by removing the front molding assembly. We're going to pull it straight up and out. Have one hand on the glass. I'm going to put this under the game, and then I'm going to use my palms to start sliding the glass out. I'm going to try to hold it using my palms so you don't put your fingerprints on the back side. And we'll slide the glass out like so. Now that we have it, I'm going to go set it down on my soft mat over here in the corner. Now that we have the glass off and stored in a safe location, we are going to need to unbolt the playfield from the cabinet. If you look straight down at the front arch, the apron here, you'll see a small cutout towards the player, and there is a bolt with a large washer that secures the playfield to the cabinet. The bolt is a 7/16 inch head, so a socket wrench or a nut driver will be exactly what you need to remove this bolt, and that will free the playfield so we can start to raise it up and out of the cabinet. Once we have these out, I'll put them aside in a safe location. Now that the playfield bolt is removed and the playfield is loose, the next steps will be raising the playfield. We're going to grasp the playfield under the apron here, right where the balls would drain if they were to go between the flippers. We'll put our hand underneath there and we'll feel an open spot. I'm going to put my right hand in there and lift the playfield up. Now we've exposed the service rails here. We're going to slide the playfield forward and rest the playfield on the front of the cabinet like so. The next step is we are going to remove the pinballs that live in the ball trough here. We're going to locate the ball trough kicking solenoid. It is this one here. We are going to grab the plunger underneath. We'll get our finger here, and what we can do is we will be able to push this up with a bit of force, and that is going to allow us to manually kick a pinball out. This game has 4 pinballs, so we'll need to do that 4 times. What I'd suggest you do, put one hand in the shooter lane, use one hand to kick it out. That way, you can catch them one at a time. I'll put these away somewhere safe. Now we're going to raise the playfield into the full service position. What I would suggest is grabbing the service rails like this, and we're going to lift the playfield up at a pretty steep angle. We'll be able to see the playfield is resting on 2 slides on the inside of the cabinet. You'll notice that there's a step about halfway through the cabinet. What we'll do is pull the playfield forward until we feel that stop on that step there, and then we can rotate the playfield back, gently resting it up against the head. And that's how we get the playfield into the service position. Once you're done with any maintenance or servicing that needs to be done under the playfield, we can reverse that process to get it back into the cabinet. We'll grab the support rails like so, and we'll bring the playfield down to a pretty shallow angle like this. And then we'll gently push it back into the cabinet until we have it almost in. So we'll grab the front apron like we did to pull it up and gently drive it home and set it back down inside the cabinet. So the next step is let's get the playfield bolted back into the cabinet. The way we'll need to stack our washers is get our bolt, and then first get the lock washer, put that on, and then we'll get our larger fender washer and put that on second. Now we'll come down to the playfield and make sure that the slot in the playfield is aligned with the hole. We might need to move it just a teeny bit left or right, forwards or backwards to make sure it lines up correctly. We can take our washers and bolt, slide it into the hole here. We can try to start tightening it by hand just a little bit to make sure that we're in the threads. Then we can take our tool and snug it down like so. Don't need to go super tight, just snug. Next, we'll grab our 4 pinballs. It might be best to grab a microfiber cloth or any sort of cloth and quickly give them a wipe just in case they're a little greasy or dirty before we put them back in the game. Set them down on the playfield and let them all roll back into the trough. The next step will be to put the glass back into the pinball game. We're going to grab our glass, bring it over to the game, and make sure that we start driving the glass in to the glass channels that are part of the side rails here. Make sure to have the lockdown bar nearby because once the glass is in place, we're going to want to put the lockdown bar in to hold it in place. We have our glass and we will start getting it in position. We'll bring it down level with the 2 slots in the glass channel like so, and then gently slide it home. If possible, I'm doing this using the palms of my hands, not using my fingers on the back, again, to keep the backside of the glass clean. We can gently drive it back in place. I'm going to hold the glass in. I'm going to open the coin door. I'm going to grab the lockdown bar or front molding, and I'm going to hold the glass up into the playfield like so, and then set the lockdown bar / front molding in place like this. Now we'll be able to reach inside and feel for the tangs on the front molding and put our latches onto it to latch both sides in place. Now with the lockdown bar in place, we can close our coin door, lock it shut, power the game on, and play some pinball. Thanks for watching another video from Stern Tech School.